there's some stuff that hasn't really been discussed by media. And Stephen A. Smith had a nugget 2 days ago that I wanted to address on the show today. But Joel Embiid's quote after the game the other day, quote, "We talked about a lot of things. I don't want to get into detail, but that whole thing, that part of it took probably 40 seconds. But it's Joel Embiid, so things will always get blown out of proportion. It's whatever, though. I'll take it. I'm the reason for everything, so I guess I'll take the blame for everything. There was nothing malicious being said. I like when people are telling me when I'm not doing good and when I need to be better. That part of it, tardiness, probably happened once or twice when I wasn't playing. So I need to be better. I need to be perfect. I need to be on point, which I'm going to do." And then, obviously, when I mentioned Stephen A. Smith, had another kind of comment about this whole situation, and I want to get your guys' input and just kind of thoughts on it. So play it right here.
Knowing Philadelphia the way that I do, I'm talking to folks in Philadelphia all the time. I love Joel Embiid. You know that. You know how I feel about him as a talent. And as Sham just pointed out, he's perpetually injured. He came into the league missing his first 2 years, the whole first 2 years, because of injuries. I mean, everything in on a human anatomy, this guy has hurt. I mean, for crying out loud, even his face. All right, that's how bad it's been for him. But now you have people in Philadelphia telling me this. He's changed since he's got his bag. He basically, one person wrote to me, they said he's basically giving Sixers fans his ass to kiss. That's a quote from somebody connected to the organization. This is how people are feeling about him. Right or wrong, that perception is very, very real. And when Marcus Hayes wrote what he wrote, while universally he was condemned for bringing up the deceased brother and his son, if you took that out and looked at everything else he was saying, everybody was feeling like everything else he said was relatively legitimate.
So apparently Joel Embiid has changed since he got his extension this summer. What Stephen A. Smith has been told by source in the Philadelphia organization. What do you guys make of that? Because I feel like that's just very, I don't know. I mean, the guy was already getting paid a lot, so I don't know how. I mean, I really don't get that.
I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how. If you are the highest paid player on the team and you stay the highest paid player on the team, then you can change. I think that I don't know. That's possible. Like I said, Steven is. I know Steven. Steven's not going to say most things if he wasn't told that. So someone there believes that told him. They believe that. I don't see why a guy that's already the highest paid player on the team would act different because he's still the highest paid player on the team. Like, and with his play, we knew he was going to get it. Like, it wasn't a question. It wasn't a question like, is he going to get this contract? Like, it was like whether he's going to sign it, not whether he was going to get it.
Yeah.
I believe I said before the part with Marcus Hayes, when I was saying the personal stuff, when you took that out, like, did anybody complain about anything else that he said? Like, I remember asking that question. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's especially in Philadelphia or a lot of the Eastern teams, Boston, New York, and Philly, you'll get a little more dialogue and challenging from media or even fans and talk radio. Like, there'll be a little more what people call drama or conflict. I just say that because of the passion that a lot of those cities have, you will get these things where they're not going to hold back because you're the best player on the team. Like, they're going to challenge you too. But the one thing that does need to be said is we're 2-12, right? Want to make sure 2-12. I don't want to give us one more loss than we have. We are 2-12. Who are we supposed to blame? Like, is it not supposed to start with Maxey, Paul, and Joel? Is it not supposed to start with them? So, let's just make it a basketball thing then. Let's cut out all the other stuff, do what we're supposed to do, lock in, and if we're not good enough to play on the court and we lose, then just make it just about that. But So it's going to be conflict, but a lot of times you can just start winning, and maybe things will change. Let's win some games and go from there. I mean, Joel happened to say what he said on his highest game of the season. Um, so he scores his highest amount, and then he's like, okay, well, here's what I got to say about that. It kind of the timing was kind of there. The game that he kind of said what he had to say. Like, okay, y'all want to say stuff about me? Well, all right, let's go. I kind of took Joel's thing like, okay, well, it's all about me, and kind of the woe is me thing. He kind of said. Um, I kind of took that as okay. Well, I'm gonna do my part then. I'm gonna do my part, and let's see if everybody else can too. That's how I took that, which isn't necessarily a positive thing. Like it can be a positive thing, but it also could be, okay, y'all jokers want to talk about me. Let's see if y'all can step up to the plate as well.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I could see that if that story were about Maxey, I could see that being a thing because he went from rookie contract to Max for Maxey. But Joel doesn't make any sense. What is this, his second big contract? Like it's just weird. Now, if I heard this story about Joel and it was more about his gold medal, that would make more sense to me than him getting paid yet again. Because then maybe he might be saying, I got my version of the ring with the gold medal. I'm good. Like I'll just coast my money and my MVPs and my gold medal. That would make more sense to me, not the money thing, though. The money thing is weird. But outside of the speculative reason of why he's acting this way, for me, the most alarming part is the acting this way part, right? Because Stephen A. Smith's people can speculate why they think he's changed, but that part's not true necessarily. But the timing of his changes is what the observation is, right? And it's since he did get paid, which is in the last 3 months. Why in the last 3 months has he changed so much? I don't know, but it is interesting that, and I've heard that Maxey's comments are based around this season, right? And that has been in the last 3 months too. So why has he changed in the last 3 months? I don't know. The change is alarming, not necessarily why, whether it's money or a gold medal, right?
Yeah, I mean that's the part. Like I know it's unknown whether it's been this season specifically or last season. Based on Joel's quotes, it was only a couple times, and it was when he wasn't playing. That's what he said. I've been told that it was worse than what Maxey said.
As far as tardiness?
Yes. Indirectly, not directly. Indirectly, I've been told that it was worse than what Maxey said.
Yeah, because you got to figure Maxey just generally looks like a nice guy. He would probably downplay whatever his criticism is, right?
So, and then Joel says it was only a couple times.
And he downplayed it even more. So he watered it down, and he watered it down. He just kept pouring water in it. So it was
that's we know that it's some, that's two ends of the spectrum. So we know someone's not being as accurate. I just said if Joel was habitually late, like it was being reported, I was just saying I don't see that as a trend that just started. If he was that late, like all the time, usually the guys that are late like that all the time, that's kind of who they are. But if you're saying that it just started now and he's that late, now I can see how people would say, well, he got his bag and he's just saying, I'm gonna do what I want to do. So it's easy to think that if because then that means that shows like a change of behavior. And that change of behavior, most time people point at
Money.
your salary. I was told that, like when I signed with Philly, like Coach Brown them called me in and it's like, dude, you acting different. Now I didn't feel that way, but there was a part of me was like, man, I ain't trying to hear that. Now that's real facts. You will act a little. You do. I did act a little different. Like before I had my contract and after I had my contract, it was some things like I wasn't really trying to hear. I'm not really trying to hear what y'all talking about. That is acting different. And Coach Brown's like, that's not you. So kind of be who you are. Sometimes you need to be told that. And I didn't notice it until I was told that that's what I was doing. And I was even told by somebody, in addition to that wasn't even the coach, but it's been around the Sixers forever. He called me out like that. And I know he had no agenda but to kind of tell me the truth. So you're like, oh, I'm like, well, he telling me that. Like, he ain't going to just, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, dude, you acting a little different, man. So, but what that is, that's people that care about you too. Like, you know, so I knew how they felt about me before they told me that. So kind of had to look in the mirror a little bit. So I know that salary and things can change people sometimes, because I was there. So I do believe if this behavior is different somehow right now for Joel this season, I can see how some people can say, yeah, specifically about the contract. That makes sense if the behavior is just this season.
You're coming in bare chesting it, huh, Eric?
I guess, yeah. Got my contract. They was like, man, we're gonna have to tone you down. And coach came and coach benched me for in practice or something. Put me on the second team. Told me I was acting different.
He nipped into the bud real quick, didn't he? Yeah.
I got benched before the season even started.
Yeah, he was like,
I got benched to practice. Yeah, I got benched to practice. Like,
I'm not letting. He's like, I'm not letting it make its way to a game.
Yeah, we ain't gonna. This not gonna linger to the season. We're gonna handle this right now.
Yeah,
came in there. Yeah.
And it's not. I mean, we have heard stories like this before, so it's definitely not new. There's been multiple re-releasing of old stories from books and articles from like Brett Brown's days, where he yelled at the rehab staff saying, "Joel's out of shape. He's going to get all of us fired." Or the team meeting they had to have many years ago about all the staff complaining about Joel just perpetually not being prepared. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff resurfacing that people have forgotten because, you know, Joel's been averaging 33 or 35 for the last 5 years. So people are like, nah, he's obviously doing something right. But now that it's not looking good, it's like, well, you get a lot of I told you so.
But that's what I'm saying. And that's what I told you guys before. If you paid attention to what I'm saying, that he's been different since February. And that leads me to kind of think that this may be like a lingering thing, because I do know when things start going south, more things start being said.
Yep.
Yeah, and also other stuff came out this week that apparently Embiid was upset that we went for Paul George and we didn't go for Jimmy Butler this offseason, which just kind of contradicts him going on NBA Countdown to try to recruit Paul George. So there's a lot of stuff being leaked, and it's like this reported. It's just so stupid because, I mean, we saw with our own eyes that Embiid went on that set to get Paul George.
Well, I mean, that both can still be true. I mean, he went and got Paul George because they said they wasn't going to go get Jimmy. So he still could have wanted Jimmy first.
That's true. That could be true, yeah.